Let me tell you guys about BellyUpSports. BellyUpSports is the internet sports bar. Go ahead and check out their website, www.bellyupsports.com, to read some great articles from great writers all across the country, from hockey, baseball, golf, soccer, you name it. BellyUpSports is the premier, not your average website. I have never been so pissed, and I talked about this on the intro for the episode already, but I'm getting constantly reminded. Like at this point, I feel like it's the Spider-Man meme where everywhere I go, I see their faces. And yeah, like I mean, literally, I remembered like this is the Kelcey, and Kelcey knows how patient I am when watching football. Even when my team's doing terrible, I will sit there and still watch the game and just absorb what's going on. Like I can still kind of maybe pinpoint something that I can probably take to the next game. I can't take anything from this game. There's not one positive thing besides the first half wasn't that bad. But aside from that El Clasico, that was literally the most embarrassing I have ever felt as a Madrista watching El Clasico. And mind you, there's been worse losses in El Clasico for Real Madrid, but this one felt significantly worse. And I think it was because I felt like nobody, and I mean nobody, adjusted at all to the game. And Mbappe just stayed offside. This dude was, and I've said this, I'm literally repeating myself from the intro, but the dude did just, you're faster than any center back, like period. Like the next, I can't think of another center back that could keep up with him. You're literally fast. You could be 5 steps behind that center back, and you would have still got to that ball before they did. Like it was infuriating to see a guy stay constantly. I was like, at this point, like you're just doing it. You're just staying offside. Like there at that point, like you're Ted Lasso. Like you don't know what offside is when you started off with Real Madrid. And yeah, it just, to me, Rodrigo would have gotten 2 goals. Like he would have gotten caught offside at least maybe 2 or 3 times, but the other 4 times, at least 4 shots, maybe 3 on target and 2 goals. That's at least me being my bias towards Rodrigo. But still, like, you mean to tell me you're being caught offside and you don't think maybe it's me? No, he just kept going. And Edward tried to like be a good friend, Edward, Edward's a saint, and I love him for that. But he was like, well, I could see the first one being kind of 50-50. But I mean, at the rest, there's still 7 offside calls that Mbappe got. And it was infuriating. The first half, Real Madrid had like clear opportunities to put this game at least in a positive note for them, because I think if they would at least scored 1 goal in the first half, the second half could have been a different story. But after that, I mean, they got mollywopped back to back, like within 2 minutes by Robert Lewandowski. Lamine Yamal sets the record for youngest goal scorer in El Clasico history, which sucks for me because I do like Lamine Yamal. I think he's a very talented player. The guy, I don't even want to say he's the future anymore. I think this is his time. It's Lamine Yamal's world, and we're just living in it now at this point. And then Rafinha just having to. That's how you know it's bad. Not that Rafinha scored a goal, but the way Rafinha scored the goal. Like he just chipped it in. It's not Lunen's fault. I'm not gonna blame this on Lunen. I don't think it's Lunen's fault. I think the same thing happens if you have Courtois. The same exact thing is going to happen with Courtois on the field. Lucas Vazquez got burnt. The same thing goes for Furlan. Furlan Mendy was just couldn't defend against Lewandowski. That's why the 2 goals happened. Well, at least the first goal happened was because of Mendy just not being able to compose himself. But yeah, it was just a bad game, man. And for the first time ever, I turned off the game. Wow. I was like, I'm done. I don't need to watch this anymore. And it hurts. It hurts, Kelcey, because I'm not that kind of person.
Yeah.
But I was livid. I just never seen a team give up, because I felt like they gave up after the second goal from Lewandowski. After that, they were just not trying. And you can see Luka Modric trying when he comes into the game. And yeah, they should have took out Mendy. They should have taken him out a lot earlier than they did. Not saying that Frank Garcia would have made it any better, but still, like it's, and I'm not gonna use the injuries as an excuse. That's not me. Like the players you have out on the field, that's who you have out on the field. I mean, you're going up against academy. The lineup that Barcelona brought out was mostly academy players, and that's the other thing that sucks more. Again, Barca's back. Barca is back, dude. That's like the worst part of it all is that Barcelona is back because they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is developing players for Spain. Could have been Catalonia at one point, but it's still Spain. Uh, and they're just bringing out academy players now, and they're playing and performing well for Barcelona. Meanwhile, Real Madrid has spent I don't know how much money, and they can't beat a guy that's not even sniffing like a third or an eighth or a sixteenth of that contract. So if there was one positive I could say is I think Vinny did play fairly well. But after that, I don't know, man. I don't know what you do. I don't know if you bench Mbappe. I really don't. I don't know what you do here because you changed the formation up to accommodate Mbappe and Vinny's stupid situation where Mbappe and it's the worst part is because we said it too. I said it too. I was like, Mbappe's just not a nine. I knew it was gonna happen. Like I saw the writing in the sand, and I just somehow was thinking, maybe it's Real Madrid. You do everything to like for Real Madrid, and I don't know anymore, man. I just don't know. I don't know, man. And I think Barcelona's gonna win La Liga, and that's the worst part of it all.
Yeah. I have to go to the offsides thing for a second because Mbappe set the single game El Clasico offsides record for a single player with 8 offsides.
Oh,
Most by a player in a La Liga game since 2009. So yeah, that's tough. Two things to it. One, credit to Barcelona's back line for their structure. It's not easy to carry a high line, especially considering your goalkeeper in Inaki Peña is kind of left on an island by himself because he's going to be one-on-one versus Mbappe if Mbappe can time his runs. Problem was Mbappe never bothered to time his runs. He really just sat, which is the crazy thing. This is the thing that always has bothered me. If you are that fast, stand at the halfway line on your side of the halfway line. And then as soon as you make eye contact, then you start running and that ball will be there and you will be fine. You were just that fast and your teams are that good. They can play any ball they need to. But he doesn't seem to ever recognize that. There's a little bit of laziness of getting back on side as well that plays into that. But I don't know what your answer is if you're Real Madrid. I know from the game standpoint, Lewandowski's back on the score sheet twice. Lamine Yamal, Rafinha. We talked about this, in last time I was here for Lamine Yamal's ability. We knew he was going to step up. And then if he can step up for Barcelona at some point in time, he's going to carry the old heads in Lewandowski and maybe even Rafinha to another, good year. And the scary thing was always going to be for Real Madrid, aging back line. How do you hold up? It should have been fine, but as you mentioned, Mendy just not good enough. And I feel like that's been your guys' Achilles heel all season with Mendy has been, at times he just forgets that he's playing defense. And that's just, despite, again, talk about a guy with all the speed in the world, Mendy's there. And yet at the same time, he gets beat too easily. So yeah, honest to goodness, this is crazy from the standpoint of I don't remember seeing this lopsided of a performance. I know there's been goals, there's been score lines that are lopsided in the El Clasicos that I can remember. But as far as just, it felt like one team was playing as a high school level, a mentality of how to play the game, and the other one was playing a, doctorate level of education on just tactics alone. It was kind of crazy where it really was for Real Madrid at times. Just kick it up to Mbappe and see what he can do. And turns out Mbappe was just standing outside the whole time. And then on the flip side, you have Barcelona doing, I won't even say tiki-taka like it once was. It was very intricate passing and not even to the level of, what they used to do. But at the same time, there was still an homage to it at times. And really to kind of flip the switch, especially that second goal was just game changing. But I don't know how you fix Mbappe. You just I feel like you just kind of have to hope figures it out. He's scored 8 times since arriving in all competitions. But at the same time, it's when you pay that much money for somebody, I expect that 8 to be like a 20 by now, considering his talents. And I'm sure if you take all the offsides goals he scored, you probably get close to 20. I know you don't like to hear that, but probably comes pretty close.
And look, I wasn't going into this game expecting like an easy dub, and I was not. I actually had a lot of feelings with the way that Real Madrid has been playing so far this season. It has been very overwhelming. Once again, just reiterate, I'm not pressing the panic button. I'm not even looking at the panic button. The panic button is like in 2 rooms away from me. I'm not panicking too much because kind of the same thing happened last year, right? Like Real Madrid was very slow going into the season. Everybody was like, "Oh, Bellingham's a bust," "Oh, he's not really that guy," and then has one of the greatest first debut seasons that anyone can ever imagine. Do I think that's going to happen? No, because the thing that was different was Mbappe and Bellingham accepted a role that he doesn't play
Mm-hmm.
for Real Madrid, and he did it, and he performed it well. I don't know if Mbappe is capable of accepting the role that Ancelotti wants him to play. And the worst part now is we don't have a guy that can play the role that Ancelotti wants them to play. Because Joselu, for some weird reason, so we signed Joselu to come to stay with Real Madrid, which I had nothing against it. I think he's a great role player. But then we ship him out to Saudi Arabia. And I think that was not a good idea because I think he gets the job done of what a nine's supposed to do. Because honestly, Real Madrid doesn't have a nine, and you can say Endrick, but he's just too young. I wouldn't expect him to have done. Actually, as a matter of fact, I don't expect him to do anything right now. He just does some weird. Endrick does what he does, and I don't know what exactly that is, but it works for him, I guess.
He plays like the original Ronaldo. That's his play style, which is he's just gonna his job is to get ball, score ball. That's his
which you're
job.
right, but he also does like that the goal he scored against Stuttgart in the Champions League, right? Like everybody's like, oh look how look at that amazing goal, and it's like one that shot was way like very slow. I just want to
Yeah,
point that out, and then
and
two,
very very poor dribbling that somehow got through.
caught everybody by surprise because no one in their right mind would have shot it from that far.
Yeah,
And except for your injured because clearly he's not in the right mind. But you know what? It worked out. Like even Mbappe's reaction to that goal was like I think spot on to where it was like, "What are you doing? Oh wait, never mind. All right, that works." Once again, I think Rodrigo had he been in that position, obviously he didn't play because he was injured. Once again, no excuse. But yeah, I feel like the game would have been different. I think if Real Madrid would at least scored one goal, this game would have been completely different. Not saying that Barca doesn't win that game. I think Barca was definitely. It's just. Can I just point out one thing about Barcelona?
yeah,
I'm impressed by the high press. I was very impressed by it because everyone talks about it. Hansi Flick, like he's gonna turn him into cross country and track and field stars by the end of his for the first summer training and all that. Which also, by the way, I should probably apologize to Hansi Flick. Apparently, I don't know what I'm talking about when I said that you were not a Barca manager, because I was clearly wrong. I didn't expect you to use the academy. You did use the academy. You didn't buy anybody, at least not that I know of. I mean, unless you want to count Chesney, but he's not even playing. Um, yeah, I think Hansi Flick kind of knows what he's doing now. I guess the whole German thing was kind of a fluke, if you will. But yeah, he got them fit enough to maintain a high press for 90 minutes. That's impressive. I mean,
yeah.
so
Yeah, no. Look, he's a disciple of the Jurgen Klopp system, which is press until you fall down and then press again. It's that level of kind of insanity almost, where even if you're not on offense, you're on offense. It feels like, and it's effective, and especially tactically sound back lines, and when a goalkeeper can play a good sweeper keeper style. Yeah, it helps when the opposing forward doesn't know how to stay on side either. But yeah, it is impressive nonetheless. I mean, Hansi Flick has done a good job so far. I'm still waiting for the wheels to fall off like it does with every Hansi Flick team, but for now it looks good for sure.
yeah, I'm just hoping somebody can expose. I mean, it's not hard to expose a high press. It's not really. I mean, technically, Real Madrid could have done it, but Mbappe wanted to stay offside. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna need a break from Mbappe. I don't know. I mean, he's gonna play next week, but I mean, still, it's just
Well, maybe we'll get more Endrick.
I'm gonna change my tune. I'm going to change my tune if Mbappe goes and scores like 2 goals. I'm gonna change my tune all over again. I mean,
I'll give you one goal every 2 games. If he can give you a goal every other game, I think you'll be okay with it.
yeah, I'll probably. I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna give him the Eden Hazard treatment, but it's definitely getting close to it. But like, I mean, Eden Hazard was bad. Like he was just
Yeah.
he came in bad. I mean, I don't think Mbappe came
Well,
in bad.
he came in out of shape too. That was the whole different story with him versus
Oh
Mbappe.
man, and then him wearing that like 50 jersey.
Yeah.
It was yeah, he shot himself in the foot too by trying to wear number 7. Um, but yeah, yeah, it's not great. But like I said, I'm not on the panic button. I think Real Madrid will still finish in the Champions League position. Um, I think they'll still do. I think they're still gonna have a say in the Champions League. I mean, even though they could be and I mean it is very Real Madrid to be terrible in La Liga, and terrible is second place, by the way, not like relegation zone, but like and then somehow managed to win the Champions League. It's always
Yeah.
been Real Madrid's milieu in some sense, but yeah, but yeah, my overreaction is if Rodrigo was on the field, this game wouldn't have been as bad.